Hey everybody, welcome to part one of my end of year ranking list. I'm going to talk through my top 40 through 21 games of 2025. I am counting games that pretty much release in this year. We do have a few like December releases in here that make things a little complicated. And disclaimer that I got review copies of almost all of these. Those tend to be the games I play. And also disclaimer that these are my personal rankings and a lot of it is based on how much I wanted to play the game, how much my family wanted to play because a lot of my gaming these days is with my kids or my wife. And yeah, let's get to it and talk about 20 of my favorite games out of the 100 plus that I played in 2025. First at number 40 is DANTE Inferno, the boss battler adventure campaign game. This is a big box one. I didn't get to play through the entire campaign before I sent the copy on, and I haven't gotten a final copy to keep. But the story was pretty cool. The boss battling was pretty interesting. I didn't love all the mechanics, but it's doing some cool things. It's not my favorite boss battler or adventure games by any means this year, but still pretty fun. That's number 40, DANTE Inferno. Next at number 39 are the Tanglewoods expansions for 20 strong. I kind of combined these all together. And these were a mixed bag. If you saw my coverage, some of them I liked pretty well. Some of them I did not. It's kind of made me wonder how much I like 20 strong overall, just because it is such a mixed experience. But when I play my favorite sets, it is still a really good time. But yeah, I can't review the Tanglewoods series as a whole as a complete win, although I do love the Manny Tremblay art. But it's still at a respectable number 39 position, the Tanglewoods expansions for 20 strong. At number 38 is another expansion, the Clan of Two expansion for the Mandalorian Adventures. And this was a solid expansion. It did what I wanted it to do. It gave us a lot of new maps, gave us a lot of new missions, and a lot of them can be mix and match with the things from the original game, gave us new characters with cool powers. It wasn't blindingly or refreshingly new, it was mostly more of the same, but it just gives you a lot of new ways to combine and change up the gameplay for a game I already enjoy. So that was enough for it to be number 38, the Mandalorian Adventures Clan of Two expansion. Next, coming in at number 37 is Luthier, which is a big heavy Euro with a solo and competitive way of playing. Really enjoyed this one. I like all the stuff from Paverson games so far. The combos, the tough worker placement action choices. Just a very solid Euro game overall. Not my favorite Euro of the year, but a really good one. That's number 37, Luthier. And speaking of strong Euros, number 36 is Jisogi, Anime Studio Tycoon, an economic Euro about running an anime studio. I'm a huge fan of that theme, so the art style and all the kind of bits and pieces of the game really appealed to me. But even if you don't like anime, I think the core economic action here is great for Euro fans. That's number 36, Jisogi, Anime Studio Tycoon. And geez, apparently this is where I put a lot of my Euros. Number 35 is A Place for All My Books, a competitive and solo Euro of getting books and organizing them on your shelves and in your rooms. I really enjoy the tactical play and sort of the pattern stuff in this game. Thought the solo bot was awesome. There's also one my wife enjoyed with kind of this cozy theme of trying to collect books and such. Just a really great game, especially for my taste. 35, A Place for All My Books. Next at 34 is Spooktacular, a competitive and solo game of playing monsters from horror movie tropes. I really enjoy the theme of this one. I really had a fun time playing this with my son. It's from level 99, so there's just tons of variety in the characters you can control and the powers they have. It's a pretty simple game. It can be a little repetitive if you play it a whole bunch because you're just kind of moving guests around in similar ways, but the tactics are fun and the variety is good. That is number 34, Spooktacular. Coming in at number 33 is a cooperative adventure campaign game, Phantom Epoch. This is a sci-fi sort of Gloomhaven-ish game with really cool combat scenarios, fun character variety, a cool card-based action system. It does have a little bit more luck in the dice than I would prefer, although they have a new official variant for that. But yeah, a solid game overall. That is number 33, Phantom Epoch. Next at 32 is Captain's Chair. This is one of a few games that'll be on the list that were in the list last year, but like I put them at half positions, like 33.5 and that kind of thing. Because they were sort of officially 2026 releases. I ended up barely playing Captain's Chair in 2025, which means my memory of it is super faded. So I'm not going to do that again. If I have a game on the list, it's going to be like ranked on the list, whether it's kind of a release for 2026 or not. But anyway, Captain's Chair is great if you like Star Trek IP, which I do. It's got really good crunchy deck building and card play options. It's got a great solo mode with tons of variety in the different factions. It's a little heavier and longer and more annoying to get to the table than I would prefer, which is why it's not higher, but it's still a great game. That's Star Trek Captain's Chair, my number 32. Moving on to 31, we've got Micro Hero Hercules. This is a solo deck builder kind of mathy game where you're trying to beat the 12 labors of Hercules, and they get harder and harder as you go along, but your deck gets stronger and stronger. It is very mathy, which is the thing keeping it a little bit lower, but it is still pretty fun tactically, and in the core game, there's a lot of variety with these little optional expansions you can add on. So a lot of fun in a quick playing game. That is Micro Hero Hercules at 31. Next at 30, we've got Toriki, which is a family-friendly survival game with app assistance. It's kind of like baby's first Robinson Crusoe in a few ways. I enjoyed this one enough to play through it completely with my kids and then play through it again with my game group. There is a lot of fun stuff to discover. The app plays well. Now, there isn't much replay. After you've played it, like 2 plays was as much as I could get out of it, but strongly recommended for families or just light gamers who want to have a fun little exploration adventure. That is Toriki, number 30. Then coming in at 29 is another recent review, Dragons of Etchinstone, which is a solo in-your-hand card game with not really deck building, but deck upgrading, where you're trying to face off against different monsters with some pretty crunchy hand-combining strategy, where you try to use the cards to combo into the best attacks and journeying you can. Has some cool expansions. A solid game. It is a little bit maybe too involved and too random at the same time for me. Some people have said if you play it like 30 or 40 or 50 times, you can learn how to avoid the randomness, but it's definitely a good one to just crank out when you need a quick game at the end of a night, and that's what it's best for me. So yes, really enjoyed Dragons of Etchinstone, my number 29. Next at 28, we've got another expansion, the Pandora's Ruin expansion for Hoplomachus Victorum. This one somewhat saves the game for me because I'm not sure if I'll ever play a full campaign of Hoplomachus Victorum again. It's just a little bit too long-winded for my taste, but Pandora's Ruin basically cuts the campaign play in half. It also doubles the number of arenas to give the game a lot more variety than it had in the original release. So I think it's pretty much an auto-include anytime I'm ever going to play the game again, which is a good sign for an expansion. That is number 28, the Pandora's Ruin expansion for Hoplomachus Victorum. Next at 27 is another battling campaign adventure game, Rove. This is also heavily inspired by Gloomhaven, but it's got some great mechanics, some really cool characters, some fun scenarios with sometimes good variety, and a story that's sometimes interesting. It wasn't, again, a slam dunk for a campaign game for me, but I did enjoy my play of it. That's number 27, Rove. Moving on to number 26, this is where I put The Old King's Crown. This is honestly a game that might deserve to be higher. It maybe should be in my top 20, maybe should be in my top 10, because it's a great design, really interesting tactical play. The Sola Automa is super flexible and is really fun to play with. The different factions are great to explore. The big negative of this game is that nobody in my heavy game group wants to play it. I don't know why. They think it's like an area control game and they just don't want to dig into it. So I have not gotten to play it nearly as much as I would like. I have not gotten to play it multiplayer as much as I would like. If I had gotten to play them in the last 5 or 6 months, maybe again, it would be way higher. I still have it. I'm not getting rid of it yet, but if I never get to play it, if I never get to table it, then it might just get out of my collection eventually. But yeah, that is The Old King's Crown. Maybe it should be higher, but it's at 26. There you go. Next at 25 is Metal Gear Solid, the board game. I love the stealth in this one. I'm a big fan of the IP, and I think this is an amazing video game adaptation. They have all the story beats. They have the cool stealth mode. The bosses sometimes overstay their welcome, but overall, this is a really great game. It's maybe too beholden to the video games to its detriment. I would have loved just kind of more out there missions that had nothing to do with the video game, but hey, whatever. It's a great game, and it's my number 25, Metal Gear Solid. Next at 24 is the Deepvale expansion for Leviathan Wilds. I continue to adore this game. I think the new Leviathans in this one are awesome. Just tons of crazy new bosses to play against. The only reason, honestly, that this is lower is that they only had one new character and one new class. So unlike something like the Mandalorian Adventures, Clan of Two expansion, it didn't quite expand the options of playability as much as I would like. But I also think the bosses here are a bigger achievement than any of the new stuff in Mandalorian, for example. And I think the game continues to be great. So that is my number 24, the Deepvale expansion for Leviathan Wilds. Next at 23 is the Marvel Dice Throne Missions expansion for the Dice Throne system that lets you play in one-off battles against Marvel villains. villains. And this one, I'll be honest, is kind of a family inclusion. My 13-year-old just loved this game so much, I wanted to play it so many times. I'm still not a huge fan of the dice throne system overall, but this is my favorite implementation of it because the plays are quicker and more impactful than the Dice Throne Adventures system, but it's not a 1v1 fighting mode. So yeah, I really like this one. If I'm going to play Dice Throne, it's going to be the missions mode with my kids, and it's fun for that, even if Dice Thrones is still not perfect in my eyes. That's my number 23, the Marvel Dice Throne Missions mode. And we're ending the list with a few that barely didn't make it into the top 20. First at 22 is SETI, and this is a great game, but it's another one that I haven't played in forever. I've been waiting for them to send me a copy of the expansion, but they haven't yet, so yeah, I just haven't gotten to my table. Again, maybe it should be in the top 10s instead of at 22. It's a great game, great multi-use cards, nice variety in the aliens and the tactical puzzle overall. Just a great Euro, one of my favorites of the year. That's number 22, SETI. And finally, the game that's at the top of the bottom half of the list, Vantage, is my number 21. This is a solo and cooperative adventure game from Stonemaier, a really different game for them and a really fun one. Lots of cool things to explore, lots of crazy directions your adventures can go in, awesome visuals in the Vantage cards. This is adventure done right. That's my number 21, and the last one on this list, Vantage. All right, that'll close out the first half of the list. Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out the next half of the list, my top 20 games, in just a few days. And hey, if you're a Patreon supporter, I'll have some extra videos. I'm going to have one that's my top crowdfunding games of 2025, and another one that'll be the games that just didn't make the cut for 2025. My top, 20 or so extra games, like 41 to 60. So come check that out if you're a patron. And for everybody else, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the next stop.